So if you're thinking about moving to Palm Beach and specifically Palm Beach Gardens, if that's the case, this is a video for you. We get asked about Palm Beach Gardens probably more often than any other place in Palm Beach and in South Florida. You've got a lot to offer there. There's a lot to do there. And most importantly, especially now and today in the year 2023, there is a lot of new construction going on there. And we find a lot of relocation people are looking at new construction. So if you're thinking about moving to Palm Beach Gardens or anywhere in Palm Beach County, this is a video for you. My name is Ray Fernandez. I'm with Living in Palm Beach, Florida, powered by eXp Realty. Welcome. If this is your first time to our channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button there over in the corner. While you're at it, ring that bell. What that'll do is I'll notify you each time we put out a new video. We put out new videos every single week. So if you're wondering what it's like to eat, sleep, and drink here in South Florida, or pretty much anywhere in Florida for that matter, this is a channel for you. 17 years ago, I can say 17 now, 17 years ago, my family and I relocated to this beautiful part of the world we call Florida, and we haven't looked back. Today, we truly find honored to help people, perhaps like you, do the exact same thing. So if you're wondering what's involved with relocating to Florida, and you want some advice, you have questions, and you want to ask some of the people who have actually done it, I'd love to talk to you. There's a few ways to get a hold of us. Down below is our email address. That's one great way. Another great way is on the screen, you see our phone number. You can either call or text that number. Two of the very best ways to get a hold of us is in the description and in the comments section. There's a link. Click on that link. What that'll do is that'll set some time for us to speak, either through a phone call, through a Zoom, whatever way you feel most comfortable. In any case, we have your back when it comes to relocating here to sunny South Florida. We've helped so many people relocate to all of Florida, and we absolutely love it. In recent years, we did a video called the top 5 places to live in Palm Beach County. One of the places is Palm Beach Gardens. And today, we truly get more questions about Palm Beach Gardens than any other place. I wanted to do a video on the pros and cons, and like anything, there are pros and there are cons. I want to go over them here now. I want to do it with a map, because I find that the map makes it helpful for people to relate and so forth. I'm going to use a satellite map so you can see what's involved and what's around. I'm going to drop some B-roll so you can see some of the places that we're talking about here on our trip. Let's go to the map. We are going to review the pros and cons of moving to Palm Beach Gardens. We are going to use the map, and I want you to stick around to the end, because at the end, I'm going to highlight some of the areas that people are moving to. The most popular areas that people are looking at in terms of new construction, and that I'm going to save for the very end. A quick overview of Palm Beach Gardens. You'll find that it is the most popular place probably in all of the northern part of Palm Beach County. In a second, I'll go to the map and I'll show you where it stands in terms of the South Florida area. When people say South Florida, they generally mean the Tri-County area. That's what we call it here in South Florida, which is Miami-Dade, which is the biggest city, obviously, in the area. We have Broward County, which a lot of you might know for Fort Lauderdale. And of course, Palm Beach. And Palm Beach Gardens is the most northern part of our county. There's also the biggest city in northern Palm Beach County. It's 56,000 people, but you wouldn't know it. It's almost half the size of West Palm Beach, but it is spread out, so it doesn't feel like a city. In fact, it feels like one big suburb. Let's go to the map. As I was saying, here is South Florida. We are in the southeastern part of Florida, for those who don't know. So Miami's here, and all the way up here is Palm Beach County, and we are going to go right into Palm Beach Gardens, right here. So for you map people, the borderline of Palm Beach County and Martin County, which is a county right above us, is right here. Tequesta, in fact, is a beautiful place. It is half of it, not half of it, but a part of it is in Martin County. It is part, I consider it is part of Jupiter. Jupiter is considered the most northern part of Palm Beach County, Florida. So one of the pros when it comes to living in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida is there is just a lot to do there. So let me show you here. This area here is like the center of Palm Beach Gardens. It is, it's not really like it's crowded, but it's the proudest part of the gardens, as we call it. Palm Beach Gardens, also referred to as the Gardens, and for those locals here, the Gardens Mall. I've got to talk a little bit about this. The Gardens Mall is a high-end mall. The stores that go into the Gardens Mall are here. They're in the area. We have the Boca Town Center Mall, which is down below in Boca Raton. You have the Wellington Green Mall, which is a really good mall in the western communities. The Boynton Beach Mall, which I've said before is it's an older mall. In fact, there's a couple of older malls that are still around, but the Gardens Mall, definitely in the area, is the nicest mall. It's the nicest mall in South Florida. I think that's easily said. But also, I've heard from many people who know, and I'm not a mall person per se, but it is the nicest mall in all Florida. So when you live in Florida, when you live in Palm Beach Gardens, this is going to be the area you're going to be around a lot. It's sort of high end. A lot of things in Palm Beach, and one of the pros when it comes to living in Palm Beach, Florida, is a lot of the stuff is newer. If you go to like Boca Raton, if you go to Delray Beach, it is definitely a newer place. If you're taking a trip into our area, so I always tell people, if you're moving to Florida, in this area of Florida, first thing you want to do is get a handle on your areas. This is a good video to start to know about Palm Beach Gardens. But if you're staying in our area to figure out your areas, which is your step number one to relocate to here, you want to get to know these places. This will give you an idea if moving to Palm Beach Gardens is in fact right for you and your family. One of the other pros when it comes to moving to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, is it's all newer. So when you look at places in the other parts of the county, I'm saying specifically the southern part of the county, places such as Boca Raton, Florida, such as Delray Beach, Florida. I love them both, especially Delray. Delray's beautiful, but it doesn't really compare to what we see here in the northern part of the county. Palm Beach Gardens is newer. It's got it's not as congested. What I find when I go down to Delray and to Boca Raton, the traffic is just crazy. Not that there's no traffic in Gardens, as Gardens is what we call Palm Beach Gardens to us locals. Not that there's no traffic in the Gardens. There is. But it's just it's a little bit spread out because it's a newer city, and it is a city of like 50,000 people. Because it's a newer city, it was better planned. As we gain technology and we have more time to think things through, I guess we are able to better plan the road. So the traffic is less of an issue, and that's one of the pros when it comes to living and moving to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So there's a couple of nice places I find around here. So again, this is about moving to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So I want to point out some of the communities I think that are notable. This place here, there's a couple of good communities. San Mateo is one of them. I mean, it's not a ton of money to move to this place. And/or there's another place that's, I think, even nicer here called the Harbors, which we've done business in there. What's nice about moving into these places is you could literally walk to the Gardens Mall. You know, if you want a place where you probably need a car. It's not like Manhattan. You do need a car to live in this area. But if you want a place where if you want to just take a quick stroll to the Gardens Mall, you can. Also, down over here is downtown at the Gardens. More on that in a minute. But again, San Mateo, the Harbor Oaks in this area are great places. If you want to buy a place, they have townhomes. The Coulter Builders, Harbor Oaks. They have townhomes, which are 3 stories, which are really nice, which are really in high demand. We had a client that bought in there and sold in there and made a lot of money in a very short period of time. Of course, it's the nature of the market, and more on the market if you want to reach out to our office anytime about what the market's doing. Palm Beach, what we find, Palm Beach and South Florida, the dynamics are so much different. We get calls from all over the country, and what's happening around the other parts of the country is different than here. We are not slowing down like the rest of the country. So that's where sometimes people make the mistake is they think that things are slow in, let's say, New York, which is in some places it is. It's not like that here. We are going down the main drag through Palm Beach Gardens is PGA Boulevard. This is the Gardens Mall, and where are we looking at? Here we go. This is Texas to Brazil. So we're going to get to PGA Commons in a bit. But if you're over here, and this is sort of the downtown at the Gardens area, you can see Whole Foods. Everybody loves Whole Foods. I find in general, for what it's worth, that people that move to the Gardens area, there seem to be health conscious. There's a lot of like eclectic food places, organic food places. This Whole Foods is extremely popular. I think we just passed it a minute ago. We might see it again. Trader Joe's. There's a lot of unique food places here. There's a fresh market down a little bit further west from here. So if you're into food and you're into eating healthy, Gardens is definitely a place that you'll find to be a good place to live. Again, this is the Gardens area. This is downtown at the Gardens. It's literally right next to here, which is the Gardens Mall. So a couple things. Here's one of the cons. One of the cons when it comes to Palm Beach Gardens and moving into Palm Beach Gardens is this area should be a great area, and it sort of is. And I'm thinking one day it will be. It's going through a revitalization right now, but this was a sleepy place. So much potential. Let me tell you a little bit about what happened at downtown at the Gardens. 17 years ago, when we moved here to downtown at the Gardens, it was the hip place. It was like the place everyone wanted to go to. Gardens was like sort of still new, the whole area. Gardens Mall was new too, but they built this beautiful place, and the vision was awesome. It was great for kids. They had a little train ride through the plaza, which was nice. So the kids all wanted to go there. So they had nice restaurants. They have a circular area to the east part of the plaza where they had some really high-end, nice restaurants. They had an amazing movie theater there as well that was well attended. But here's what happened. Commercial real estate is funny, right? It's like the livelihood or the death of an area. And they bought the developer either was too greedy or bought the place for too much money because the rents were too high. And the residents could not, the tenants, the stores could not survive with the high rent. They weren't making enough money to cover. So one by one, everything sort of left. In recent years, it's been revitalized and it's coming back. And it's had a couple of revisions. The people who bought it, rebought it at a lower price. We're able to now pass on the lower rents. I mean, one thing about commercial real estate, which really sort of bothers me, is they're okay with leaving a place vacant, not getting any money for it for years and years, and are stubborn about the price. And in my opinion, too stubborn. But anyway, it's coming back now. Let's look at it from a residential standpoint. It is going to be, I think, a great place. They have a theme there, which Palm Beach downtown at the Gardens revitalized, and that's sort of what's going on now. It will be good, but it's one of the cons. Is that it wasn't always living up to its potential. That is downtown at the Gardens. So this is like an overpass here. You can see this is like a busy area. Look at the roads here. Looks like downtown LA, right? There's a lot of stuff, and it's really easy to get lost here in terms of taking the wrong street. And next thing you know, you're on this, and you should be over here. And this is all right near the downtown at the Gardens and the Gardens Mall. It's a little confusing, but when you move and when you live in Palm Beach Gardens, you will figure it out. We've had a lot of clients that stay here, and actually both of these places, Palm Beach Gardens Marriott and this one more so, the Hampton Inn Palm Beach Gardens. So if you're looking at a place to stay in the northern part of the county while you look at what what the area is about, that's a place I would look at. Let us know. We'd love to point out in the directions where you should check out if you're thinking about moving down here. Give us a holler. Even if it's a preliminary visit, I'd love to show you some of the places I think you should consider. This Yard House is one of the places that has been there forever. It went through when the downtown at the Gardens went up and down. our Yard House State. It is a very famous place. It is a popular place. It's probably a better word. It's got a bar scene a little bit, but it's also for food and more for food. I think they do sports stuff there from time to time. But the food is really good. Great salads, burgers, and stuff like that. If you want, you're not really sure what you want, it's a good place to go. I see Grimaldi's is in here somewhere too. Grimaldi's this is that circular place I was telling you about. This is where they still have the CMX or the cinema there. Things have come in and out of there. There was right in here was a Texas de Brazil. It's a churrascaria, which those familiar with Brazilian cuisine, it is amazing. You have a disc, red and green, and if you want them to stop coming because you have too much food on your plate, you turn it to red. And once you get a little bit full again, you turn it back to green. But they had that here. It's now at the PGA Commons. We're more on that. Midtown, I should say, which is across from PGA Commons. More on that in a minute. Don't want to stay too much time here, but if you live in this area, you are going to want to know this area. Once you go over this overpass, this is 95. 95, I think most of you know, from north to south along the East Coast, that's like the main street. What's sort of nice about when you get to this part of Palm Beach, you have 95 and the Turnpike, which are two of the most the busiest and easiest roads to go north and south. They're sort of close to each other. So if you need to switch over, this is a great area for that. If you go in Jupiter, which is a little bit north of here, more on that later, if more you can, that's one of the pros, actually. It's one of the pros in terms of getting around in the state. Palm Beach Gardens is excellent. Jupiter, like 95 and the Turnpike are right next to each other. So anyway, here's one of the pros here. This is the area that if you live in Gardens and you move to Gardens, this is one of the areas you are going to frequent. I talked about the Fresh Market. Here you have it right here. This is a pretty big road. This is Military Trail. This is Military Trail that sort of this is a very busy corner here, PGA Boulevard and Military Trail. So this is a great place to just walk around and to do things. I love this place. The Cooper is an outstanding restaurant. When people are looking in our area and they ask me where should I go eat, lots of times I'll recommend that they go take a look there. If you're into seafood, if you love oysters, there is not a better place than Spoto's. So if you want a place where like Long Island oysters, this kind of oysters, that kind of oysters, that's your place. So one of the pros when it comes to Palm Beach Gardens is that it is you've got a lot of restaurants that are not necessarily chain restaurants, which I think people can appreciate it. I want to compare this to Wellington, Florida, because we get a lot of questions on what's better. A lot of people look at both Wellington and Palm Beach Gardens, and let me go there for a second. So a lot of people, when they're looking at our area, two places that are sort of similar but very different at the same time is Wellington, Florida, and Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. So what I find, one of the big differences between the two is the restaurants. Wellington, I guess, is a little bit more family orientated from a restaurant perspective. You get a lot of chain restaurants in Wellington. You get Olive Garden, you get Smoky Bones. All those places do really well there. You get less of the restaurants in Wellington that are more unique. Gardens is filled with unique restaurants, and it's one of the benefits, one of the pros when it comes to moving to Palm Beach Gardens is you get a good variety of original restaurants. All right, before I continue west, because I'm going to go there in a minute, I got to touch on this because you guys are going to love this. These are the beaches. So this is one of the questions. What are the beaches like? So I'm going to give you this. One of the cons when it comes to moving to Palm Beach, Florida, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida is it's not exactly on the beach. It's not. It's close enough, but it's not on the beach. So when you come down PGA Boulevard, it takes you down here and it sort of just goes right into, this is Singer Island. I like Singer Island, but it's all made up of condos, right? This Palm Beach Shores is really part of Singer Island. You can see the high rises there. We did a video on Nautilus 220. It is an excellent Palm Beach condo. If you're looking at Palm Beach condos, that's my number one choice. It is really good. You need a budget of $1 million to $4 million, but that is a really good place. It is the downside to that place. One of the cons of that place is that It's adjacent to Riviera Beach, and it's in a place called Lake Park. It's right here. And anyways, this is an area that's going to be massive change in the next couple of years. This is why I truly would love to invest in that area. And there's a way to do it. Reach out to our team if you want to learn how you can invest in that through condos, actually. So going back to the beaches, this is what I wanted to get to. These are the nicest beaches, in my opinion, in all of our area. Palm Beach Gardens, Palm Beach, Northern Palm Beach has the best beaches. Juno Beach. It is one of the most beautiful beaches. Now, I live where I am in Wellington, 40 minutes away. I'll take, maybe not in the morning, maybe not so much, but I'll go to the sunrise and I will go to this beach because it's so beautiful. You will see people fishing on the pier at that part of the morning. And it's just like there's a ton of them. It costs money to go down the pier on these piers, whether it's Lake Worth Pier or whether it's Juno Beach Pier. It's like $1 to walk it or $4 to fish it. But obviously people find value in it because there's a ton of people fishing. I will say, like you see in this picture here, went away. The picture here, the sunrises are just gorgeous. I highly recommend, if you are in our area, you need to take the time to look at a sunrise in Juno Beach. Juno Beach is also, it's got a lot of sports, a lot of sports activities. So let me go here real quick as well. Jupiter Beach, same thing. These are the two nicest beaches. I love Jupiter Beach. It's got a small pier. And the reason why the fishing is so good here at Jupiter Beach, let me see if I can blow this up. Where are you? Oh, this Leftovers is a great restaurant. Another unique restaurant that you need to know is because here, this is like the Loxahatchee River goes into the ocean, and this is your beach. This is Jupiter Beach. You have this place called Dubois Park, which is really nice. If you want to bring your kids to a safe beach next to the ocean, and it used to be part of a hurricane messed it up, I guess, a little bit. This used to be an inlet, part of the inlet, but a hurricane came and made this the inlet instead. Anyways, Loxahatchee River, this is Tequesta here. If you have $5 million to spend, if you're a higher budget and you want a boat off Loxahatchee River, which will basically take you right into the ocean, you need that kind of money. But there's some beautiful homes right off here, and listen, if you have unlimited funds, this is a place I would consider. I mean, there's no better place. It was rated. It was. Let me go back. Let me go to this for a second. Jupiter was voted at one point one of the top 10 coastal towns in America, and it doesn't surprise me. Myself personally, no, I lived in East Hampton, and one of the things that we used to do in East Hampton is there's like 30 beaches there, and there were a lot of these beaches that were like off the beaten path, and I would find them. I knew every beach in East Hampton. I was your guy to go if you needed to know a good beach in East Hampton. So they have a lot of these beaches in Florida. I can appreciate. There's a place just north of Jupiter Beach that's one of those quiet beaches. Reach out to our office. I can tell you what that is. I am going to film from there soon. But anyways, in terms of the best beaches and fishing and sports, the Juno Beach and Jupiter Beach are the best. If you like windsurfing, if you like kayaking, if you like surfing, it's the best places for surfing. Juno Beach and Jupiter Beach are the best places in our area here in Palm Beach. All right, so we're going from Jupiter back down. And the reason why I bring this up is you are close enough. When you're in Palm Beach Gardens, you are close enough to Jupiter, and you're probably more so than Singer Island. You're going to go to Juno Beach probably more often than any other beach, and also Jupiter Beach, which is great. By the way, I got to mention this. The biggest sea turtle nesting population in the entire world is right here in Juno Beach, Jupiter Beach, Palm Beach Gardens area. Just, and that's where they highlight it there. Good education for the kids. Moving west. I got to go here. If you are a golfer, Palm Beach Gardens is your town. They have an area here called the PGA National. It's an older community, but there are some good values in there. We've had people look in there and buy in there. It's a great place. I think there's a better place for golf, in my opinion. I'm going to get to that. That's at the end, my new construction thing. But this is if your budget isn't as expansive, this is a place you could buy in here and be next to the PGA National. Now, PGA National, I got to spend some time on this, is going under a major overhaul. They do the Honda Classic. They just did the Honda Classic. And what's happening is they're putting big money into the PGA National. I understand that the Honda Classic is looking for a new sponsor. There's rumors circulating about where they're going to take this. Because they put so much money into this place, it'd be hard for them not to keep it there under a new sponsor. But one of the rumors, right or wrong, is that they're going to do that, is they're going to look as we go west out this way. And that's the area I'm going to finish this video off, a new construction over by Avenir, which is the hottest area in Palm Beach Gardens right now. But anyway, so as you go, let me get back here. There you go. So this is a big community. It pretty much goes from the two biggest avenues, which is PGA Boulevard and North Lake Boulevard. This is this whole community, so it's pretty big. I want to touch on a couple of communities up here. Mirasol, membership community. Baton Isles is over here somewhere. Membership community. We don't get a lot of people that look at membership communities today. Except for maybe what's coming up, which is I'll touch on what they're doing out in Avenir in a minute. But there's one with membership communities. There's a fee to become a member. It can be a bit large. It is not financeable. So that's one of the things where we find that maybe even holds the prices down on some of these places. Ibis is another one that's further west near Avenir. More on that later. But anyways, that's Mirasol. There's a place over here called Old Palm. There you go. Old Palm Golf. This is exquisite. This area is to die for. Again, you need a healthy budget to live there, but it is one of the nicest places in Gardens. It is, if you have 4 million on the low side, 10, 12 million on the upper side to spend, Old Palm is a good community. It's old money. It gives that appearance of old money. That's to me. That's how when I walk in there, and I've showed houses in there. I've seen houses in there. It smells like old money, but the homes in there are beautiful. I really do think it's exquisite. So I'm going to go. So we have, again, Trader Joe's is one of the most popular areas, people for foodies. This is your area. There's your Texas to Brazil. This is, before I move over to there, there's Baton Isles right now, right there. This is your Midtown and your Palm Beach and your PGA Commons. Lots of stuff there along. One of the cons when it comes to moving to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, is if you go out to this area at night, especially on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the traffic is terrible. The parking is terrible. So if we go out there early, I always go like around, if we go out there, I go out there early, like before 5. That's, you can get parking. What they do is the stores there, the restaurants there, they take over a bunch of spots and they make it for valet. It's crazy. So one of the cons when it comes to moving to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, is the parking. There is just a ton to do in Palm Beach Gardens, and that's one of the attractions to Palm Beach Gardens. It's newer than the rest of the county, a lot to do. And one of the good things, one of the nicest things that I find, we do a lot of relocations. We are a new co-home broker. So if you look at new construction, I think you're crazy, more on that later, to walk into a sales center on your own. I want to say that before we look here. I'm going to go to the map and show you 3 areas, well, actually 2 areas where we see a lot of new construction in the Gardens area. And it's one of the things that I think that one of the attractions to people moving to Gardens are these areas. So let's take a look. So in this area, this is Eastern Palm Beach Gardens, northern part, northeastern part. There's a lot of nice areas up here. These are like Emerald's Cove. I mean, this is really nice, really big money up in this area. And Frenchman's Harbor, Frenchman's Beach and Country Club, really nice communities. But 2 in this area that are are really popular right now that we're seeing good activity in is Alton. Love Alton, but you're looking at $1.5 million on the low end of that to get in there. And also Artistry. Both are built by Coulter, which is one of my favorite builders in the area. But the reason why those two new construction new construction communities are as expensive as they are is because of where they are. You are literally right next to Jupiter Beach, you're right next to Juno Beach, and you're next to all that Palm Beach Gardens has to offer. So that's why if you're looking at this, Donald Ross goes into Juno Beach here. Juno Beach is a small town. It's only 3,000 people that live in this little hamlet of like a few miles. But again, Alton, I'm preparing a video for that one coming up. Artistry, I've done a video on that. You're going to spend somewhere in $1.5 million to $2 million, maybe $3 million to get into those communities. And it's primarily because of the area it's in within Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. All right, so moving on, I'm going back down south here, down to the southern part of North Lake. This is a big church, by the way, Christ Fellowship. If you're a Christian, they have a pretty big presence here. This is their main campus. Again, this is PGA National, and we're going down North Lake, which is the southern part of the street. And here we go, and we approach the community of Avenir. We have seen a ton of activity, a ton of interest in Avenir. It is, of all the 3 master plan communities in our area, it is on the, even though it's on the upper end, we've seen more business there than most of these other places. It's basically now, the entry level is around 800,000 in Avenir. You can get that with Avondale. There's Panther National's another story. We'll get more on that in a minute. But I don't want to make this an Avenir video because we have plenty of them, but I want to touch on this because it's a big part of what's going on in Palm Beach Gardens. It's a big part of why there's such a great allure with Palm Beach Gardens. But that's your entry level to get in. Now, as you can see, 800,000 is a lot less than what I was talking about with Artistry and Alton. Alton doesn't have a gate, and it still goes for that kind of money. The amenities are decent. The amenities, I think, are better here in Avenir. It's a different crowd. If you are looking to check out new construction, you want to get a handle on what's available, I have a great new construction website that searches only new construction. Reach out to our team. I'd love to send it to you. Just shoot us an email. So I'm going to go to the map, and let's look at in a brief nutshell of what's going on in Avenir in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. One of the pros when it comes to moving to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida is this is one of the nicest master plan communities in our area, period, in all of South Florida, in my opinion, Avenir. So you're coming down, you're moving to Palm Beach Gardens, let's say, and you want to check this area out. This area here is 5,000 acres, right? Of which only 2,500 acres, half of it is roughly, is being built on. There was an area here before Avenir, which is not considered Avenir. Next to it is called Ancient Tree. I'm sure if I zoom out, I'll find it. It's right about here. It's here, you go, Ancient Tree. It says temporary closed because it's sold out. The people who bought an Ancient Tree are people who wanted bigger pieces of property, who wanted a smaller community. There's only 200 roughly homes in there. Your HOA is going to be a little bit higher per home because of that. But if you want a more intimate community, that's your community. It is, there are resales in there. If you want to learn more about what's available in there, resale-wise, reach out. I'd love to help you, put you on a search as to what's available in there now and in the future. But San Diego Crane is one of the best public golf courses in our area. So I'm told. I'm not a golfer, but they are expanding this up here. You can see they're expanding it. And it's part of one of the allures when it comes to Avenir. I've got a video that just came out called Avenir, Is It Worth It? You got to check that one out. It's a great video on this whole area. So I'm not going to go into depth like I did there then. But anyways, but in a nutshell, when you come down North Lake, you're going to come here. And this is the entrance. This is Avenir Drive. Look at the entrance here. It's Gothic. This is a public area. But once you come into here, all these communities are private. This is Watermark is in here. Coral Isles, high end, about $2 to $3 million to get in there. Avondale Avondale is your most affordable right now. Avondale is a Devasta Pulte community, and it's selling like hotcakes. Once they open their models, they boom, everybody went to, everyone started buying in there. We did some business in there. I love that place. I think it's a great value, and I'll tell you why. This place here is going to be crazy. What's going on there is insane. So I got to tell you about this. I was invited by the people at Panther National, the builders and the people there that represent Panther National, on what they call a Dusty Boots tour. And they've done a lot of work in this area, literally in the last like 4 months. It is so much. It looks a heck of a lot more developed than this right here, right now. But it is going to be one of the highest end, and it is a membership community. It is selling. It is about $4 to $5 million to get into this community. It is a membership fee, $250,000 if you live here. It's about 200 plus homes of people that live there. They're selling. They opened up the membership to non-residents at a premium of $100,000, $350,000. Again, it's non-financeable. People, they had to stop selling because they sold too many too quick. So if you want to live in an area next to $15 million places, you want to check out Avondale, because you can get in there for a heck of a lot less money. The entry level in Avondale is about 800 in the 800s. The sweet spot is about $1 million, to be honest with you. It's still in the early-ish stages. I remember selling this area like a few months back, and you could pick anywhere you want, any lot of land in all of Avondale, and it's not the case because they're selling fast. The other thing about Avondale is that it's near all this. This is all going to be walking trails. If you want nature, this is it. This is your community, and it's going to be right next to Avondale. If you're a 55 and older community, you want that. That's the Toll Brothers area of Regency. We've done a lot of business there. I love that place. One of the best 55 and older communities in all of the area. As I've mentioned before in many videos, Avenir is considered to be one of my favorite places. I think there's good value there. Prices have gone up. I've got to say this. So listen, if you go into these new construction places, like I said, you're crazy on your own. You need independent representation. And what that looks like is just reach out to us. We can help register you. We need to be there on your first visit. If you walk in there on your first visit without us, they will not likely allow us to represent you after. It's one of their rules. All the builders do that. I'd love to help you. It doesn't cost you. The money out of your pocket is zero. It doesn't cost you. It's the builder who pays us. They're happy to pay us because we introduce them, the builders, to people perhaps like you who are thinking about moving to these great areas. And so they have a great relationship with us. One of the things I pride our company on, myself personally even, is that we have great relationship with the builders, and we are a new home co-broker. We know more about new construction than anyone else. Trust me. We have done business in every area in Avenir. We done business in new construction all throughout the area, Palm Beach Gardens. So in any event, if you have questions about new construction, get independent representation. You have to make sure we're on the visit. We can help pre-register you. Don't call their website, because what will happen is they will set you up with the next available consultant. We help you get the best consultant. We are there throughout your process, from the beginning to the end, through the contract and your inspections. We'll be with you. And if you need advice, when you need advice on things on the process, we are there to help you out. All right, zooming out from Avenir. This is all within Palm Beach Gardens. West Palm Beach is our biggest city. There's like 120,000 people that live there. If you live in anywhere in these areas, in Wellington or in Gardens, you're going to probably go to West Palm Beach. It is the best place for the holiday season. The December around here, you cannot do any better. March, the nicest month, in my opinion, in South Florida. There's a lot to do here in terms of spring training. If you're a baseball fan, the Marlins and the St. Louis Cardinals train there. Down in West Palm Beach, you have the Nationals and Houston Astros train. Up in Port St. Lucie, the New York Mets. This is the haven when it comes to spring training. But if you're thinking about moving to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, Let me tell you this. Like anything else, there are pros and cons when it comes to moving in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. As I mentioned in the beginning, it is our number one place that people ask about. It's certainly, I think, a factor that has to do with the fact that there's a lot of new construction. But if you're thinking about moving to Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, do your homework. That's our opinion. If you're thinking about coming down, let us know. We would love to, I would personally love to help you, point you in the right direction as the things you should consider. But the first place, if you're considering relocating to here in Palm Beach, is to look at the different areas and first get a handle on that. Then we can drill down into more specific areas and communities. As much as I love making these videos, there's nothing I love more than helping people, perhaps like you, move to this beautiful part of the world that we call sunny South Florida. Palm Beach Gardens, paradise here in South Florida.